All right, good morning, everyone, to all my followers and viewers. This may
Hi.
seem a little bit unusual because this should be a late night show, but because my guest, uh, well, he's a foreigner, this is going to be late night in his time. So I have to deal with this time because uh, this is a very special guest. Okay, welcome to the show, Mr. Mark London. We are
Thanks,
live on.
Omai, and thanks for calling. I know we're live. Thanks for calling me a special guest. As you know, like the Philippines has a special place in my heart as well. A really big place in my heart. Many people will know my time that I lived there. I used to joke around that, I was sort of Filipino, even though I would never be thought of as Filipino, always a foreigner and that. But like, you would know yourself. I travel around with the guys, and we'd be sleeping in the middle of roundabouts on dart tournaments and on benches and like just huddled up together somewhere. And that was all part of the fun, with the red horse and the darts and everything like that. And it was amazing. I owe so much to the Philippines. And, one day I will be back. I was due to go back for the Tacloban Open. But as we all know, like COVID happened, and
Uh-huh.
that put a stop to that. But the Philippines and the Philippine dart players, they are responsible for improving my game. I mean, since then, I've come back to England and I've played Super League. I played competitive darts, but the Philippine darters were the ones that really showed me, okay, if I want to be competitive, I've got to reach a certain level. And before I wasn't at that level. And there's people that in the game, people like Darts Assassin Ramel, Raiden
Mhm.
Kalina,
Yeah,
Jerkats, people like yourself that really
yeah.
push me, you know,
Mhm.
because like there's a lot of darters probably like yourself. We want to be winners. We want to
Mhm.
go
Yeah,
away with that trophy. We want other people to think, oh, he's not a bad player. The only way to do that is practice hard and be absolutely determined, right?
okay.
As you could see, if you could see behind me, I've got the dartboard there, and even though it's COVID, I'm practicing. Um,
Yeah,
but the Philippine darters, as I said, they really helped me a lot, and what a fun experience going to all those different tournaments and that, and a friendly atmosphere. There is nothing quite like that anywhere in the world. I don't think
Mhm.
it's a special thing in the Philippines, a special like communal thing that you all have, like the comradeship you have with all one another. Like people know each other. When I've been to
Mhm.
other tournaments, like here, and the competitive side of it, it is very, very serious, but in a way that sometimes it's not as much fun. In the Philippines, every time, every tournament was fun, and
Yeah,
everyone made you feel so welcome, and I'm so
yeah.
thankful for the people in that. Um, when I'm in England, people say like occasionally they say like, "Have you won this? Have you won that? Or whatever." I remember the time of winning Mascara, the Mascara Festival, and okay, it's not as big as some of the tournaments that I've been in because I've been in like UK Masters qualifiers and the Malta like international opens and that since then. But that one really sticks in my heart, and it really I really remember that because that was the one that I wanted to win the most when I was living in Bacolod. And as you know, that one was sort of once a year. And I would say to all the
Yeah,
guys that are living in Bacolod, right, and the people that come from that region, right, Dwindle, have that every single year without fail. It doesn't
mhm.
matter what about the finances or anything, make that one special. right? Make that one special, like as do other regions, like make their tournament special. I remember Guimarães was a very special
Yeah.
experience for me as well, going there.
Uh,
And I was lucky to win that. And Omar, you will know what happens in darts is sometimes you go to a tournament and you won't quite be on top form and you won't succeed or whatever, but it's an experience. But you have to keep on going. You have to keep on trying because
mhm,
you have to believe in
mhm,
yourself. You'll succeed somewhere in the game, whether it be in the doubles or in the singles. And that is a big motivation. That is a personal achievement, and you will never forget it. Just as like I've never forgotten like Mascara. That will live with me for the rest of my life. It's like I can take myself back to that time,
mhm,
a- and I remember jumping up in the air and you know yourself in darts, you should really be
mhm.
very respectful to the opponent. Turn around,
Of
shake his
course.
hand, think to yourself, "Well done." I couldn't contain. I couldn't. That is true, but I could not contain myself that time. I just jumped in the air like a basketball player. It was like I wanted that so much. I remember I was with Rose at the time, and I was saying to
Mm.
her, I want this one, I want this one. She was saying to me, go. I was practicing and practicing. Now on the day, I didn't play my best darts, like, and I got a little bit lucky in some games, but I was just so determined to win that one. It was brilliant.
It's the
Um,
determination. It's the
you know,
determination.
so that was good. And the other thing is, I come back to the UK, and I'm telling all the guys. I said, yeah, I was saying to the guys in the UK. I said that they're such good players in the Philippines. You know, you're not aware of them, right? They're
Mhm.
really, really good players, and they're, oh, we don't know, whatever. And I said to them, what are your averages, right? And they're telling me their averages for Super League. Now, I knew there's guys in the Philippines, right? Some decent players that could hit those averages.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
when I first come back, I thought, okay, let's try the pub league, the normal pub league.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not bigging myself up. I'm bigging the Filipino darters up now, right? Because they're the ones that got me to a level. I joined that
Mhm.
pub league and I never lost a single game. All
Mhm.
the way through the season, no one beat me, right? Just because the Philippine darters they raised me to a level. You know, it's like you can play anyway, but if you want to win, you've got to raise your level. So I said,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to the Super League because I can compete with you lot, and they didn't know who I was. And
Mhm.
I turned up with my top, the Londoner top, and they're joking, who's the London, whatever. And I said, oh, I was playing in the Philippines, whatever. But anyway, the first year in the Super League, I get eighth place, which doesn't sound good,
Mhm.
but eighth place in the Super League is really good, right? And I'm beating some good players, and then you start to beat players. You meet the occasional players. They got like PDC tour cards and ex like champions like Peter Iverson and things like that. And it's like, wow, I'm playing against these guys. Hang on, I'm beating these guys. Not every time, but you have those successes, you know.
Mhm.
And still now, like I said to you, like still now I say to them, you know, when I was telling you initially, like this is like second year Super League, although we've got COVID now. And I was saying to them, you know, initially when I said to you about the Philippines and the Philippine dart players, he said, oh, I don't know. I say like there are times when they kick my ass, right? And I said, you really don't know. Like there are some superb players there, right? They say, oh, I don't know, whatever. But then I kick their ass, and then gradually they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Like maybe what he was saying before is true, you know. So like I'm helping in the UK to get recognition for Philippine starts and the Filipinos or whatever. And I mean, if it's possible, I will support the Philippine darts in the future, right? But only for my participation there. As I said, I would have gone to Takloban. I reached out to people like Bobby Gebber and Jerkats and so forth,
Yeah.
and I was going to go to Cebu first, and I had it all planned out. They cancelled my flight, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that was last year. Was it May or April? April, wasn't it? And they cancelled,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
COVID
Even
happened.
the game,
But I wanted to see everyone. I wanted to see my old friends there. Yeah, but
actually, I'm
I've
in
watched
Cebu right
that. I've watched that YouTube video because
now.
yeah, well, I miss everyone. You and a lot of other people. There's so many names, you know. I mean, on my Facebook friends list, I have so many names on there, of
Yeah.
people that are dear to me, just because the Filipinos so nice to me, all the players and everything like that. I mean, I hope they know because I'm going to tell them now. Like, I love so many of those guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have such a fondness for them, you know. It's like maybe they don't know that as much because like gradually I get a little bit less messages because I'm in the UK, but I still think about
Okay.
them and all those good times. You
Yeah,
know
yeah, of course.
that's an important thing. In the Philippines, it's a special thing that you've got. That friendship and
Oh,
helping one
yeah.
another. And so,
Mm.
if I could, like, if I went back there now, maybe like a few would listen to me a bit more because it's difficult, like on the stage, because what happened is as well with me is like after I was there only about 8 months and I was getting these good averages and doing well, they said to me, "I'll come and play for the county." So I
Mhm.
represented Middlesex County, which is like London, and we travelled like to a few, but it was so expensive, Omar. I thought to
Oh.
myself, why am I doing this? I'm travelling all this. What my first one was all the way in a different country in Wales, so I had to travel all the way to Wales to get that, and then
Mm.
you hang around all day and you play one game. Well, not one game, but like one match, like
Mm.
best of five, and like it's really tough because you've got a crowd that come in and they come in and they pay like £2 or £3 to come in and
No?
witness it. You get like a
Mhm.
program and all that. um, I had my name. I lost my first one, and you know what? What was terrible? I didn't play well. I was a bit nervous, but the thing is, I had the double. I had like a double 10 to win the match, to win a
Uh,
really scrappy match against this guy who wasn't better than me. Right? I got to be. I'm just being honest. I should be humble, but he wasn't better than me, and I just could not hit the double. It was terrible, and like you have to wear special clothes. You have to wear black trousers. You have to wear black shoes and like they give me a county top that I had to wear, and it was miles too big. I mean, everything was wrong. I felt stupid, and you have your own walk-on music as well, so it all
oh,
builds up
yeah.
the tension for you. If it's your
Mm-hmm.
first time, it all builds up the tension to it. So they're playing like, and they've got the guy on the microphone as well. The Londoner, Mark Brockett. It's like, dude, they start playing your music. Oh my God, your knees start to go a bit, and then you've got to play a game of darts. um, I know it. I know. I know it can be like that in the Philippines, but generally it's much more relaxed. We all sort of know
Yeah,
each other.
yeah.
It's not really, honestly. They got these speakers, right, and they're booming out as well. And then you've got the cooler, and everyone's watching you. You step up to the
Mm.
jockey, and you're thinking, okay, I've got to start scoring the hundreds. So you go up there and you think, okay, I don't want to make an idiot of
That's
myself.
where the
At
pressure
least
comes
throw
in.
it straight and hit a 60, 20, 20, 20. So you're up there. You know, nice and straight, nice and straight. You don't want to be like 1-5, you know, because it can, you know, it's because you think all these people are watching and they expect you to be good.
Yeah.
But there's ways of dealing with it. Some of the guys there, they deal with it with alcohol, and I'm not for that, really. I don't, you know, I think you should overcome that. I think
Yes.
you should deal with it without the use of alcohol. And then if you
I don't.
like alcohol and you can still play, if you like alcohol and you can still play, fair enough. But I don't think you should like take all that on so it makes you almost like a different person. I think really what you need to do is deal with the mental side, and there's certain ways you can do that. You can you can reinforce your beliefs and everything like that. I think that there's a couple that I use really. I'm like, what? There's nothing that can really hurt me. So what am I afraid of? Be
Oh,
positive.
yeah. That's
Um,
it.
yeah,
That's the
all
idea.
those sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, and then there's the end game. Sometimes you can pull it together whereby you can score quite well, right? Even if you're a bit nervous because of that automatic thing with your arm that you've been practicing with, as long as you can get the range right, you can score right. But then what happens is you've got a double. Yeah. Sometimes you only have 1 or 2 shots at a double. But there's one specific thing that I use when I go for that now, and it works a good percentage of the time, right? And the key to it is I say to myself, I'm going to throw this positively, right? I am going directly for the target, and if I practice good technique, I am not going to blame myself if it doesn't go in.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Now, now, what that is like this. It's like if you throw it like that, then it has a good chance of going in. If it doesn't go in, don't go away thinking, okay, I didn't give that enough, or I wasn't positive enough, and all these other things. That helps you later as well in the game. It's like because what happens is that like you throw it. And sometimes you've got 2 darts. The first one, boom, and then you say this, it hits the wire or something like that, or goes close, and then the second one, it's like okay, it never went in, but I threw that well. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go for it, but I'm going to practice good technique. There's no point in just throwing a dart, right? It's always I'm going to practice good technique. Then I will not blame myself if it doesn't go in. It's just one of those things. It's a small margin. It's one of those things that has paid off for me. Right now, I've seen other guys. They go to pieces on that. You know, they don't adopt the right attitude. I've seen them where I can almost hear their thoughts. They're thinking, "Please go in, please go." No, there is no please go in. Like the dart is an inanimate object, right? It cannot determine please or anything else or luck or whatever. It's down to you, right?
It's for you.
It's like all I can do is practice a good technique. Now that's a good tip for people. It's like if it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in. But do not fail on your technique and positive. Um, I could talk about other things if you like with the darts that are important. I mentioned this to a few guys in Bacolod actually, specifically like now we're talking about doubles. Is like you have, say, if you can envisage, I've got a dartboard behind me, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you see that. If you can envisage like you have like a double 16, a double 8 on the left hand side of the board, right? You'll see that. Now, people have got different approaches to going for it, but ultimately, let's start with like double 16. Like that helps me. Is like go for it, right? Not go like to go close. Go for it. And the reason why is because you do not get punished if you go inside because you've got double 8. And go because you do not get punished, right? Because you've got double 4. If you have 3 darts in your hand, right, and you stop the first thing that I said, whereby you say, I'm going to throw this with good technique, and you're going to be positive, the chances are you will get that double, right? The other thing is with that as well, unless you're Michael Van Gerwen who doesn't do this, right? Let's take Michael Van Gerwen out of it because he's so quick and so talented. He throws across the board for doubles and all that. It's boom, 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 and that's it. But that's Michael Van Gerwen. Let's go with most darters. Like let's say someone like Gary Anderson or no, Rob Cross. Rob Cross, for example, he'll step back and compose himself or whatever. Some guys they don't want to think about that too much, so they just want to go for it a bit quicker. Maybe it'll upset their rhythm if they adopted that. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I happen to quite like that sometimes. Other times I just be positive and go for it. But the important fact to those two guys, what they do, they get in line with, like, say, the double 16, or if it's the other side, the double 10, meaning that they keep their arms straight and they're throwing straight down the line. And for example, if you're standing at the oche and you're going for like, say 20s and treble 20s and so forth, like a lot of us would do, then you'll have your position on the oche, right? A lot of the time, well, there are darters that go left and right of the oche or whatever, but generally it's more central. So that's our position. But when we come to a double, what we forget is that if we were in that same position, then we're throwing across. Now we're throwing across either to the left or we're throwing across either to the right. It's away from our original starting point, which is generally like the 20s, the treble 20s and so forth, but we're throwing across for the double. So we don't need to do that. What we should do is maybe place our front foot slightly to the left, in line with the double 16, or slightly to the right, in line with like double 10, for example. It's getting in. And the reason for that, and then we position ourselves so we're comfortable, but the reason for that is that should not take away from our technique, because we're practicing the same technique in line, but for a double, as we would for like a treble 20 or a 20 or so forth like that. That pays off. Now, I mentioned Michael Van Gerwen. Michael Van Gerwen just goes boom, 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 boom. It's a special case, but for a lot of us, that will improve our doubles. The doubles are so important in the game. When we're playing some games, people are regularly hitting tons, right? For example, you could step up 100, 81, 140, and then your opponent is doing the same thing, right? And then it's coming down to a double. right? And that happens a lot in the Super Leagues, especially with like the real big name players. Well, not even big name players. Like there's a lot of good players out there. If you're in the Super
Yeah.
League, you've got to be fairly decent. But it comes down to the double. So like that part of the game is really important. The other thing I would say, if I was given advice, is don't throw lots of darts, like in practice. Now, the thinking is loads and loads of darts, you're going to improve. No, because what can happen is you can throw loads and loads of darts with bad technique, right? You're better off throwing half the amount of darts and analyzing your technique, right?
Yeah.
So like half an hour, maybe even just looking how you stand. How does this work? How does this work? Half an inch, my toe pointed here, toe pointed here, and taking a mental note of what works for you. I've worked on my stance loads of times. Literally, like sometimes it's like a quarter of an inch in this. I've looked at my follow through. I've looked at like sometimes it's like, oh, okay, it's because look, my elbow's slightly out to the right. If you're right-handed, what can happen is if you're right-handed, your right elbow will go out towards the 1 o'clock position. Right? If you're left-handed, it will go the other way. That arm, if you're looking at something and you're aiming to throw for it, that arm should be straight. Right? Now, the complicated thing with this is that some people find it hard to stand straight onto the board, right? So, for example, Gary Anderson stands pretty straight onto the board and he throws straight down the line. Right? Other players, for example, they might stand slightly to the side. Now that's okay if that feels comfortable for you and you can score like that. But what you've got to remember then, if you're standing slightly to the side, like with your foot to the side rather, that your arm has to constantly be straight, because as soon as you turn your body, there is a tendency for your arm to bend. Like either to normally, if you're right-handed, it's pretty hard to bend inwards with your elbow. It's more likely your elbow will go outwards, and you have to be conscious of that. That's something you can do. That's something you can do in practice, but you have to be aware and analyze what you're doing. I've done it before. Well, why am I doing this? I've done it during a game. I'm playing away okay, one game. The next game, I've gone through the next round and I'm playing away. Now, okay, why am I doing this? And I was relaxed and I weren't scoring. The brief interview, I've thrown a few darts and then I've just noticed. Now that the reason I noticed is because in practice, I make a point of noticing how my technique is. So you can even do it during a game. And I come back. Once I knew what I was doing wrong, right, I had no problem in the game. I started scoring well again and everything. And okay, I put it right. It was such a small thing. Technique is everything. If you look, if you go on YouTube and have a look at techniques and so forth, it can upset your game. But what I mean by that is the principles that people show you. If you watched a video on Phil the Power Taylor, on Raymond van Barneveld, on Gary Anderson, or whatever, they would say you have to do like this. If you try and throw like them, you will not be able to achieve that. but the principles that they are saying are correct. What you need to do is adopt it to your game. So, for example, if you do not stand like them, right? If your arm is different, your arm might be shorter. My arms are very long. Right? You might be more comfortable leaning slightly forward. As long as your body position is stable, that's okay.
Yeah.
So you have to adapt it to yourself. But the basic principles are good. But what you cannot do is fool yourself. If you fool yourself, if you do not analyze and you fool yourself, it's just like something that's a bit unlucky for me. It's not really working. It's not like, no, if you play badly, it's because your technique probably wasn't good. Or the rare occasion is someone plays extremely well and credit to them, they beat you. But a lot of the time, if you're fairly good,
of course, you have seen
carry
players
on.
in Iloilo City. For me, they have bad techniques. They have been playing for years. Their games did not develop, and the worst thing is they still keep on doing it.
Well, you know, it can happen. I mean, I've seen some players that their technique isn't like the best, but they get away with it, you know. And but if we're talking for like beginners or people are just sort of coming into the game, maybe people that have started to get a little bit then it's good advice if they follow that good technique thing, really. But for the people that don't particularly have great technique, but it works for them, personally, I think they're making a little bit of an excuse because it certainly doesn't work for them all the time, and maybe they could be even better. Yeah, maybe they could be exceptional players rather than just being good players. If you look at someone like Jockey Wilson in the old days, everyone was saying he had terrible technique, and he did, but it sort of worked. It did sort of work for him, but that's an exception to the rule, really. If you look at most of the professionals, you would say all of them have got amazing technique. That new guy, is it Jose, the special one? Have you seen him?
Not yet.
He's yeah, okay. He calls himself the special one. He's a I believe I think he's from Portugal. He's doing well lately. He's got amazing technique, that guy. He really does. He stands up straight, and his arrows are just like. Honestly, I think he's got a few 9-darters, and you know, I mean, you know, you're not going to go too far wrong. But it's difficult. Me, I'm very tall. You know, you remember, like I'm very tall. I've got long arms. You know, imagine some let's say smaller guy with bigger weight. He's not going to throw like me. I'm never even if he's very good. I'm not going to throw like him, right? But
of course,
all I can do is adapt like that good technique, the principles of playing darts well, and then find my way from now. That's all you can really do with it. But you know, try and have fun. It's difficult sometimes having fun when you're so competitive. I'm very bad. You know, like even in the Philippines, the Philippine darters that let's say they're very humble, right? And they're very respectful when they lose. don't think I really upset anyone over there, because
Ano?
but I am thinking my competitive side. I can't help. Like, there was a few times I showed my disappointment, but I'm never angry really with anyone. Just more angry with
With yourself?
myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but credit to the Filipino guys, because they don't even do that. But you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve. So
Mm.
if I don't do well, I'm like I think about it. Maybe I'm on the dartboard the next day and I'm practicing. Going, oh, why did I do that? Yeah. Um, I don't know. That's what that bad side of my play is probably like a good thing that helps me as well, like the competitive aspect of it. And I'm getting older. I'm getting older now, so like it's really good for me. I'm like, there's this new youngster or whatever, and he's playing really well. Okay, let's beat him. But you know, like, but I'm respectful to him after. I could tell like he would hate to lose to me. You know, like all the people said. Oh, the other thing I should mention is when I first come back to the UK, they said to me, "Oh wow, like Mark, you're a good player, but you play so slow." I said, "You are joking, right?" I said, "You want to go to the Philippines? Honestly, some of them went to pieces. I don't play really slow, right? But I was obviously really slow to them when I come back. They throw a lot quicker pace, and even now, right? There's only one guy in the Super League they say like is as slow as me. I don't
Mm.
hold people up. I don't do it on people. I just like take my time a bit. But
Uh,
I actually, if I come to the Philippines now, you would say that I throw really fast. Honestly,
yeah,
that,
faster than
that
before, huh? Your
yeah,
previous.
I've been exposed to the UK darts now, right? It's like they really get on with it. I'm like, "Yeah, no, concentrate a bit harder. You know, like I mean, I don't mind if they want to do that. When they go up
No.
there, like boom, 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 like you see Michael Smith, how quick he throws.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like there's loads of guys like that. I mean, yeah, they can score well, but there's sometimes it's like they just like chucks up. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go there. But I mean, if I come back now, you say, oh, you throw quite quick, but no. Um, yeah, I was quite slow when I went in my darts when I went back, and I'm not going to speed up loads. Um, but you know that was funny. That was a funny thing to witness that.
but it's really the Philippines, huh? It's really the Philippines who showed you darts, who taught you
Uh,
darts. It's really the Philippines.
but yeah, in a way. I mean, I played darts before when I was really young, but I never played for many 25 years or something. And then I come to the Philippines, and then someone was playing some darts in the bar, and I said,
Uh,
"Yeah, I'll join in." And I joined in. I thinking, "Oh, okay." If I was playing with some cheap brass darts, they were like a couple of hundred pesos from Unitop or something like that. You know, just for fun, just for fun. And
yeah.
then I said to my girlfriend at the time, I said, if I got some decent darts and I really practiced, I could start to get competitive. And then what happened is, I think Ramel, Darts Assassin Ramel, you
Mm.
know, and Malloy and
Yeah, Miloy.
Delphine, and
Mm.
yeah, they come to the bar, right? And they're playing. And of course, I'd not been playing for all those years, and I was thinking, okay, these are good. These are pretty good players. If I want to do any good, and I'm competitive, right? And they're still, and they are still good now. I mean, like, you know, I mean, there's some special players there. You know, they've won a good few things, and yourself, you've done well. You done well. You know, like I think our score is 1-1, is it? Something like that.
We met
Yeah.
in what place was that? I
The
forgot.
the
I
first
forgot.
one, the first
I forgot.
the
In
first
Bacolod.
one I remember. Now I remember the first one you beat me was in Bacolod when you come
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
final. In the final, and then the next time was it was up from Iloilo, I think. I can't remember. Where did
Rojas City. Rojas City.
yeah, Rojas City.
Rojas
Yeah.
City. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I got and then and then I got through and I played Phil for a place in the final.
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
Phil Leiber, is it? I forget. He said
Guatilara. Guat-
that's it.
Guatilara.
Yeah. Very nice guy. Very nice guy.
Yeah.
And I had a really good game with him. It was a
He's a good
nice game.
player. Good player.
Ah,
He's a
but
good player.
he played really well. If you remember, I think I had a shot at the bullseye to win to go through to the final. I think, and I hit the 25. Ah, it was so close. Like I hit the 25 on the wire, I think, of near the bullseye.
sometimes, sometimes we think that okay, let me do it again, and I will hit it again.
I never, there's only a couple of times I've won matches like that close on the bullseye. It's only a few times. But yeah, then I think Ramel beat me. I mean, Ramel's class player back there,
Yeah.
but actually I didn't play too well against Ramel. I was really beat by then. I'd given everything because it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. I was so tired.
Yeah.
I'd give everything. I'd give everything to try and get in the final, and that game took everything out of me. Everything that I had left. If I'd have made the final, maybe I'd have, and some coffee. Maybe I'd. But there
But
you go.
anyway, Mark, thank you very much for your time. I have taken your time for almost 1 hour now. Thank you for this quick interview, for this unexpected talk. I hope we could meet again. And your last word to all your Filipino friends.
My last word. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you very much, and thanks for the games we had. I hope people are going to watch this because, like, I give them a few like life tips, experiences for darts, if you like. Um, but lastly, I want to say, like, I love the Philippines and I love you guys, and a personal thank you for me, right, for helping me, right, and for being such good friends. And like loads of people will know and remember all the things we had and the trips that we
Yeah.
went on. So, last word, just thank you very much. Yeah, and good night from me.
Good night, Mark. Thank you very much. And we miss you out here.
Yeah, thank
See
you,
you.
thank you. Take care. Yeah, see ya. Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye. Okay, that was Mark Londoner, very special friend and a very special dart player. And it's a very pleasure for me being his guest here. Although this should be a late night show, but let us. I did give him his night because it's already late night in his place. So again, to all the viewers, followers, keep on tuning and don't forget to like and subscribe. Good morning.